So I just got accepted into my nursing program, and it's very exciting. I got in, woohoo. I'm starting in the summer, starting in May, and I realized that there are some tips that I really wished I had known before applying. And I remember even before I took my TEAS exam, I remember looking on YouTube and watching videos and Googling like how to study for the TEAS and all these things, and it was a very stressful time. And then of course, you know, when you apply, you have to wait till the deadline and wait till the school lets you know, and that could take a while. And yeah, so this video is for people who are maybe interested in nursing. Maybe you haven't applied yet, but you're getting your application documents together. Maybe you are not interested in nursing, but you know someone who is or might be. But this video is just tips I wish I knew before even applying to nursing school, before even starting that process, because it is a stressful process. Sometimes it's a very long process. It could take some years sometimes, depending on where you are in life. But the first tip that I have is decide what program you want to do. There's different colleges, universities, and so there's different programs that you could need. You might want an associate degree in nursing, an ADN. You might want a bachelor's of science in nursing, a BSN. You might want an accelerated BSN program if you are already, maybe if you have a previous degree. You might want a master's degree in nursing. Maybe you have a bachelor's in another program. You might want to do the ELMSN, the entry-level master's in science and nursing. You might have a degree in like biology or something and want to do a master's instead of doing another bachelor's degree in nursing. And if you're already a nurse, you might be looking at a doctorate program, but we're not talking about, this is for beginner prior to being a registered nurse. So figure out what program you want to do. I got accepted into my school's BSN program, and I have a degree in psychology from before, and I was looking into the accelerated bachelor's because they're usually faster and you'll get done. So the schools around me, I'm in Minnesota, the schools around me range from 16 to about 20 months. The one program I was really interested in was 18 months, and I didn't go for that, and I'll explain why later, but that program was about 18 months. The bachelor's program that I got accepted in is traditionally a 4-year program, but because I already have a bachelor's degree and I already have the prerequisites completed, it's an 8-semester program that I can get done in 2 years, because I'll do summer, fall, spring, summer, fall, spring. That's 2 years. So figure out what program you want to do. All three, or all the bachelor's up to the bachelor's level and the master's. So all the programs prepare you to sit for the NCLEX, which if you've ever heard of the NCLEX or the nursing boards or the nursing licensure exam or whatever people call it, your programs prep you to take the NCLEX, which is the exam that makes you licensed as a registered nurse. And you want to make sure that, number one, you're getting to a program that you're actually learning all the things you need to learn in order to take the NCLEX. So make sure you look up your school's NCLEX pass rate. So if you're interested in different schools, just like Google, for example, I'm in Minnesota, so when I was searching, I would search University of Minnesota NCLEX pass rate, or Minnesota State Mankato NCLEX pass rate, just to make sure that the people who are graduating from the program, so if you're getting a degree in the school, you are also being properly prepared to take that exam so that you can be a registered nurse, because it doesn't make any sense to get a degree and not get the licensure to go with it, and it costs money. It's a lot of money. Anyway, so you want to make sure you pick what works for you. Some people Maybe if you work full-time and you can't give up your full-time job, you can only go part-time. You can pick a program that accommodates part-time. Maybe you just don't have a lot of money. Community colleges are way cheaper. Community colleges will give you an associate's degree in nursing, which again, you still sit for the RN licensure, and it's the same thing. It's just with an RN, with an associate's degree, then if you are thinking of going down later to do a master's program, then you'll eventually need a BSN, and then the master's. I'm doing the BSN because I eventually would like to move on or continue and get a master's program. This is a very long number one, but just to say, make sure you pick the right program that you want to do. Pick what works for you, works for your schedule, your stage in life, what you want to do in the future, your 5-year, 10-year goals. That way you know going in. And I wish I knew that. I wish I could just have the answer, because it took me so long to decide exactly what I wanted to do. And now I'm at a spot where I'm like, okay, I know I want to do a master's, so I should just do the BSN as opposed to an ADN, and the accelerated BSN is honestly just too intimidating. I don't got time for that. Tip number 2 is prerequisites. So if you're fresh out of high school and say you're 17, 18, maybe you're still in high school and you're doing PSEO, but say you're fresh out of high school and you decide, okay, I want to do the nursing program. Most programs will just guide you along, and you'll do all the classes you need, you'll take all the prerequisite classes you need, and then move on with your program, and you'll be done probably in 4 years. If you're like me and many others who maybe started down a different path, like psychology or business, marketing, engineering, I don't know. Maybe you were going down a different path and you decided, maybe I should do nursing. There are some core classes, prerequisite classes that you need to complete before you start the nursing core classes. Anatomy and physiology, 1 and 2. Some schools offer anatomy and then physiology. Some schools offer anatomy and physiology 1, then anatomy and physiology 2. Please pay attention in A&P, because the foundation of anatomy and physiology will carry you through everything else. I took anatomy and physiology, and I'm in microbiology right now, which, let me tell you. So you need anatomy, physiology. You need some sort of general biology class, because you need microbiology. You need some psychology classes like developmental, lifespan developmental. Anyway, and then you also need intercultural communication. That's one thing that my school made a requirement. Maybe your school wouldn't. Some schools need pathophysiology, and I was looking at that, and I looked at 6-7 schools, and some wanted pathophysiology and some didn't, and I was like, isn't pathophysiology one of the core classes? Anyway, but make sure you research exactly what prerequisites you need. You don't need to take extra classes that you won't need in the program. If you're looking at schools, look at the common, and you're looking at starting taking your prerequisites, because prereqs could take a year or more. I started my prereqs summer last year, and I'm still in prerequisites right now, and this is I did summer, fall, spring. This is spring. So it's taken me like a full year to get my prerequisites completed. So if you need more, like I didn't have to take the psychology classes because I already had psychology, and I didn't have to take I don't remember. There was another class, statistics. I didn't have to take that because I took it in high school. But make sure you do some research, find the common ones like anatomy, physiology, microbiology, and developmental psychology are pretty much uniform across the board. See which ones schools need and start taking them, because the earlier you start, the earlier you can get into the program. Most schools won't even look at your application until you have the prereqs done, which is, I mean, I understand because they want to make sure that you've got an A and A and P. But yeah, you want to make sure you get those done beforehand. Third point is your TEAS exam. Now the TEAS, I don't know what the full acronym is, but if you're looking into nursing, you'll hear about the TEAS exam a lot. Look up your school's minimum score. I'm not saying you should get the minimum score, but make sure you, when you're taking the exam, you aim for that minimum score. My school, I'm going to Minnesota State Moorhead. My school required a 60%. My school required a 60%. And as I was studying for the TEAS, which is it's not a fun exam, but as I was studying for the TEAS, I was like, okay, Eugenia, you need a 60%. You're good. My school is not gonna like bump you off the list if you got 60 and someone else got 61. They don't do that. Well, I don't think they do. But I was like, okay, I need to make it through. I need a 60% or better, and that's all. Study for the TEAS exam. You can't, I mean, maybe you can, but you can't just go into the TEAS exam without looking at any review things. You can't. I couldn't. And when you study, do a little bit each day. If you try to study all at once the night before the TEAS exam, you'll be so exhausted, and during your test, because it's a long test. It took me 3.5 hours to complete the test. I got an 82 because I studied way too much for it. But please, please, please look up your school's requirements. Look up your school's requirements and make sure you are hitting at least that minimum, because if you don't get it the first time, you can always retake it, so it's not a problem, but it does cost money to retake it, to take the test and retake it again. So just study. There's a ton of free practice TEAS exams on the internet. You don't need to pay for any of their study books. I mean, you can if you want, but I didn't and I didn't find it necessary, because if you Google TEAS exam practice test, like a bunch of websites come up with free. Some will give you like 10, 15, 50, 100, and you can just take as many practice quizzes as you can, so you can get into that habit of taking the TEAS ATI style question. And yeah, the TEAS is like it's prerequisites and TEAS. Like most schools will, like, as if you don't meet those, you don't get in. So number 4 is GPA. This one I put below because my school only requires a C on all the science classes and the prerequisites. So you need to have at least a C in anatomy and physiology. 1 and 2, you need at least a C in microbiology. You need at least a C in the psychology classes. One of the schools I looked at, I think, wanted you to have like a 3.5, which is a B, I think. And I was like, that's a little high to get in. But I mean, some schools are a lot more competitive than others. So just be aware, make sure when you're taking your prerequisites, make sure your GPA is, get your B's, get your A's, get your C's, but don't get lower than that. If you took a prerequisite class and you didn't do so well, you can always retake it. Please retake the classes you didn't do so well, because that'll bump your GPA. It'll show the application people that you're serious about it. And like, yeah. Lastly, you gotta determine if you can work during the program or not. And this one's kind of like I'm not even sure if I should put it in here, because pretty much everyone I talk to about the nurse, because I called a bunch of schools, and they're like, oh yeah, the program is so intense that you can't work, or you're not recommended to work. So when I was looking especially at the accelerated programs, they were like, yep, it's just go, 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 go for 16 months and you can't work through it. And I'm like, how am I supposed to pay for it? Like, how am I supposed to make it make sense. But it makes sense. Like, I have watched a lot of videos on YouTube about people who are like, oh, me in the nursing program, it's just so intense, it's difficult to work. And I mean, yes, it's an intense program, but that's something that I personally, I haven't started yet. I start in less than 2 months. I'm getting ready for that. I'm going to be working during the program because I gotta pay rent and I gotta pay tuition. So I need to be working, but determine if that's something that you can do or not. I would say first at least start the program and see, because maybe it's not as intense as people say, but honestly, I don't know. I don't know yet. So yeah, I need to make sure that my grades won't be slipping. So if I have a job and my grades start to slip, I'm dropping it. I'm not doing it. I need to be sure that I can get through the program without having to fail a class, without having to retake a class. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. It's one of those things that I am hoping is not going to be an issue, but we'll see. I currently work as a CNA, so a certified nursing assistant, which, oh, there's a bonus tip. If you're going to be going into the nursing program, please work as a resident assistant, nursing aide, home health aide, certified nursing assistant, whatever it is, because I wanted to see if it was something that I really wanted to do. And I'm glad I did, because working as a nursing assistant is a very, I mean, it's a difficult job, don't get me wrong, but it's a very good way to kind of step into the field and see, okay, this is how it looks like. Crazy days, easy days, no, not a lot of issues, lots of issues. This is what it looks like as an assistant. Like, you're running around, you're answering all the call lights. How is it gonna be like as a nurse? So I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, this is how it's like as a nursing assistant, and I see what my nurses go through and I feel for them. And you don't have to be, some programs require you to have a CNA license or home health aide license. My program doesn't require it, but I think it looks good on your application if you have it and if you have experience working as it. I plan to probably continue working as a CNA throughout the program, just so I can make sure that I'm up to date and I'm actually working in the field. But we'll see, because I gotta move in order to go to school. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I don't even understand, it's a very long video, so I don't understand, I don't remember what I said, but this is a message to myself. I'm just, good luck in the program, good luck in your prerequisites, good luck on the TEAS exam. We can do it. We can do this together. We're gonna get through nursing together, especially now during the pandemic. Nurses are so needed. Nurses are needed everywhere, everywhere. We're always short-staffed with nurses where I work, and if it's a calling and if it's something you'd like to do, I definitely encourage you to look into it, because yeah, nurses are awesome, and I can't wait to be one. I can't wait to go through the program, not die, hopefully, but I'm so excited. I will probably be posting more nursing related videos because I'm a nursing student and I find these videos incredibly entertaining to watch as a future nursing student. So look out for those. Anyway, thanks for watching. Good luck, and we can do it. We can do it together. Okay.